98% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't lived the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get punked, or some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Don moves, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever clique you choose, you better stick to your rules. I done seen cats get hit and the force will lift them off their shoes. The gun tower got the power, they will kill you if you move. The gun tower got the power, they will kill you if you move.
Say what's cracking, you.
And so today I'm gonna be reacting to what I definitely can say is a well-known, famous, legendary Crip. When I first came to the pen, right, it was extremely different for white Crips, right? It was a situation where, of course, they was considered race traders. You would have sprinkles of some here and there, right? But the majority of them would hit the yard. Automatically, it would be an issue. You know, you'd have Woods on the yard, skinheads, whoever, anybody who was programming as a white convict was not going to do time and be on the same yard with a white Crip. And so you had a lot of these white Crips who would hit the yard and they would see the, you know, the drama that their presence caused, and they would roll up, man. You have a few dudes, man, Old Man from Fortray, and Snow Rock, and a couple other, right? But this is about Snow Rock. So I heard his name early in my penitentiary career, I guess you could say. And every time a white Crip would hit the yard and this, you know, this drama would kick up, somebody would mention, man, Snow Rock. His name somehow, some type of way would come up in the conversation of being a down, solid white Crip who was with the business, man. So anyway, let's get right into this reaction. Oh, excuse me. In the name of his channel, you can go check his channel out. The name of his channel is Standing Tall with Snow Rock.
What's up, everybody? Those that don't know, it's Joey. Most people know me by Snow Rock. So we here. I wanted to talk about Donovan. You know, the reason I left Donovan was because of a racial riot between the whites and Crips, and there was 2 white Crips involved. It's funny because, you know, I mean, you know, it's over. But in the process, you know, I got stabbed over my eye, I got my nose broke, and I ended up breaking the shot caller's jaw in 3 places. They say his teeth was moving around in his jaw because it was broke on both sides. Not bragging, but bragging. Yeah, I did that. But, you know what I'm saying, we were outnumbered. It was like, you know, I mean, you know, they were coming to get the new white Crip. And this dude that just got here and nobody, you know what I mean, knew him. Or, you know what I mean, it was a whole bunch going on. And I seen what was going on, tried to, you know what I'm saying, get over so I could holler at the shot caller and let him know, look, if it's people or anybody got a problem, it'll be one-on-one. And, you know what I'm saying, we can deal with this.
Now, you just heard him say he was already on the yard, but another white Crip had pulled up. And so, you know, who knows why they chose to suddenly go press up on this other white Crip while he was already on the yard. Maybe the white dude just felt like, man, you know, enough is enough. We're not supposed to be going for all these white Crips on the yard, because due to how their structure is set up, a lot of times, if they happen to transfer to another prison, and it's heard that they was on the yard with a white Crip and didn't attack him, a lot of times those white convicts' lives could be in jeopardy, right? So once again, I wasn't there. So who knows, you know, why they chose not to tangle with Snow Rock, but tried to press this other white Crip. But anyway, it's about to get cracking.
But ain't gonna be no jumping, ain't gonna be nothing else. You know what I mean? So before I could even get a chance to do that, this dude, he had just got out of the hole. He's a white Crip. So, you know what I mean, you know, he had just got out of the hole and he told administration, oh yeah, Snow Rock, that's my uncle, just because he knew of my reputation. And just by reputation, staff that were in the in his classification, like the captain or the program associate warden knew who Snow Rock was, because I've been on the yard, as a white Crip. You're going to get noticed, especially.
Now listen, let me inform you guys of this information right here too. A lot of times, man, when white Crips hit the yard, the administration already knows it's going to be a problem. Keep in mind, the administration, they have been administering or been in an administrative position as long as you have had the convicts in a convict position. So they know what entails when you have a white Crip hit the yard. And a lot of times the administration would just send him straight to the hole, put him up for transfer. What they're trying to do, they're trying to just pass the buck to another institution because they don't want him there. And this happens a lot. So just letting the white Crip hit the yard sometimes is a task to even get to happen.
If you're staying on the line, because I was mainline, I was, I wasn't going to the back of the road. So anyway, I'm here in Donovan, and this was about 2004. So they sent this other dude to the yard, this other white Crip. So, I was just there, and, it cracked off. And I'm not going to not participate in a situation like this, because, you can't, mess with him just the same way you can't, do nothing to me. But one-on-one, anybody, go get him. Line him up. I will make sure this dude fights every fight. And I told him when he first got there, this is the way it was going to be. Because in prison, if you white and you running, with another race, there's going to be racial issues. I don't care who you are, where you are. This is how it was back in the day. This is, this was our parole. This riot happened in 2004. So I had been, I was on the end of a 12-year bid. I've been in for like 10 years already. So anyway, the way it happens is I'm trying to get close to the shot caller as we're walking back from chow, so I can holler at him and tell him, anybody got a problem? The dude fight one-on-one, no problem.
Now, I'm not extremely familiar with, with the structure of the white convicts in prison, right? But I have heard it said by some white convicts that, unlike other structures, they are allowed to go catch a one-on-one fade with a black convict. Each, of course, race, they have different policies that are created by, people who are important to them. And so, like I said, I've heard it said before that the white convicts can catch a fade with another black convict or a white Crip who's running with the blacks. And so, just in case you're wondering, that's how he's able to do that.
So before I could get a chance to do that, I hear in the crowd somebody say, "Do it, do it." And I'm looking around to see where the white Crip is at, and he's up ahead of me, and he's trying to get a light and trying to smoke a cigarette because he just got out of the hole, which is administrative segregation. For those that don't know, you can't smoke in there. So now he's out here. Somebody gave him some tobacco. He wants to smoke. That habit is a bad habit. So anyway, he's trying to smoke and he don't pay attention. And I see the guy swing and hit him in the neck. So I'm thinking that they just stabbed this guy in the neck. Now they're about maybe, 10, 15 yards in front of me, like maybe 10 at the most, and I see everything. So I just think, okay, he's done. I can't do nothing for him. So right now the shot caller is right next to me and I just tee off. I catch the dude right and broke his jaw. He goes down, So now there was another dude next to him and he's like, his lieutenant or whatever. And he's tall, skinny, skinhead. So, two-pieced and knocked him down. Not bragging, but, I know how to fight a little bit.
Now, let me give you guys a little information, man, about riots when they kick off in prison, right? And it goes pretty much exactly like he's talking about, right? You might just be sitting chilling, right? And you look up and you see a riot kick off. And a lot of people will immediately find a person who is involved in that riot on the other side and just go to squabbing. And this I have seen this happen in black on black riots, right? I've seen dudes on the yard chilling, a dude just for, for the explaining of the story. He may look up and he may see his homie into it with another Crip from another car. He may see his homie into it with another blood. And he'll just locate the first blood he can see, or the first, dude that's fighting his homie, and just get off, even if he's 100 yards away. And so this is how the situation goes, man. And this is why, you always got to keep your head on the swivel. In my opinion, that white Crip who had got to the yard, he was tripping. He was worried about the wrong thing. He's worried about trying to smoke a cigarette instead of getting the vibe of the yard, Now, I'm assuming that he's feeling that, okay, Snow Rock is here. He's a white Crip. I'm cool, but it's not always like that, man. I had a cellie who was a white Crip, a homie of mine who I had grew up with by the name of Pee Wee, right? And I used to tell him all the time, homie, do not get complacent. What's going on today may not be going on tomorrow, because somebody may hit the yard who is influential with the white convicts and say, hey, be like, man, what's this shit right here? We ain't doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, the new Crip definitely was not paying attention and putting his life in jeopardy.
So now, it's just a crowd, I'm getting hit from every angle. I can't even see, as so many hands upside my head right now. I'm getting socked from this side, hit from this side, so I get knocked down. So I'm on the ground, and then I get back up, but I'm swarmed. As soon as I get up, bing, 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 I'm getting hit from every angle. I don't know who's hitting me. I don't know what they hitting me with. I don't know how many people. You can't, if anybody been in a situation like this, you just trying to get enough room to swing. That's it. Defend yourself. Hit somebody. Get them off you. Back them up.
And it's imperative, if you ever get caught up in a riot, it's imperative to try your best not to get knocked down. But of course, a lot of times that's out of your control. But in the event you do, you should try to get up as quick as possible. Some people make the mistake of folding up and going into a fetal position. And man, I'm telling you, man, them boots are hard as hell. Them state boots that they give us up in there, man. And people are eventually going to come and try to stomp you or kick you. And one or two well-placed shots with them boots, it's going to be over. So that's why it's extremely important to try to get up as quickly as possible.
So I'm trying to fight my way out of it, and I go down again. So when I go down again, I grab a guy's jacket. So I got the corner of his jacket, so I know somebody's connected to this jacket, and I just lay into him. And I hit him, and I'm getting swarmed, and then I fall down again. Now, this time the police are coming up. And, the alarm's been going off. This is prison. So the police are here now. So don't nobody want to fight no more. This is usually by the time people get tired. So now they immediately back up and get down on the ground. So I get down on the ground because the police are here. But now, I'm bleeding. I got a cut over my eye. It was just, I got a couple little, what they call it. I didn't even get stitches. They gave me the little tape that they put on. It was a little two staple tape over my eye, right on my eyebrow. My nose was broke, so my nose and the cut were all bleeding. So I don't know. All I see is blood dripping off my face onto the ground in front of me because I'm cuffed up, on the ground on my belly. The police are doing their, whatever. So they got to make sure everybody's secured first. So anyway, this all goes bad because I end up, we all go to the hole. Now, it was 16 skinheads involved with 2 white Crips and 2 black Crips. Now, other people said they got down, but, truth of it all, when I got on the ground, I don't know. I had hands all upside my head most of the time. I was fighting my way through it. But when I did, get to a spot where I could see, I seen 2 people that I knew that were gang related that just sat down and let it slide. They were from the other side. They were young. Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. I don't ask for help. I'm not seeking no assistance. If I get into something, I'm going full tilt with everything I got. Ain't no, ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Now, I can pretty much verify that, right? I did some time unbeknownst to me with Snow Rock. We both was at CMC East, right? But I didn't notice until later, right? But, a good friend of mine, man, Spoon from Shotgun knew him. And he told me one day, I believe Spoon was in the building with him. He told me one day, man, some dudes, I believe it was some Bloods, had tried to jump one of Snow Rock's homies, man. And Snow Rock had got off from working in the kitchen. He came back to the building. He heard that immediately. He frontline. He went out there, you know what I'm saying? He located who he needed to locate and got cracking, you know. And on another note, you know, when you hit the pen, right, as a white Crip, another thing is so dangerous is because a lot of times the Crips on the yard, right, they going to want to make sure that you're solid. They're going to make sure that you're going to be willing to fight for yourself before they're willing to fight for you. You know, of course, eventually Snow Rock, he made his name, he made his reputation, right? But when you first pull up and you unknown, dudes want to see, hey, man, is this dude going to get active? Is he going to stay down and defend himself? And so, you know, you have a lot of other white convicts extremely upset at the fact that you have the nerve when you're a white Crip to go program, do your time, and hang out and be in the cell with the blacks. And also, in the event, I'm sure something that highly upsets them, in the event it's a riot, you are going to betray your race and try to hurt, stab, and kill the same people who have the same white skin as you. So this is definitely something that has to burn them up, right? And so, you know, just knowing that you're going to be the focal point a lot of times, it takes a whole lot, man, when you on the yard and there's hundreds of other dudes, right, who may be trying to attack you and you don't know when or where it's coming from, with what, how, fist, knife, you know. So, yeah, it's definitely, man, commendable, you know. I give my salutes. Shout out to Snow Rock.
So now, you know, they get us all, you know, cuffed up, secured. They take me to the infirmary because, like I said, I had to get the 2 sutures in my eyebrow. While I'm over there, the medical assistant, the MTA, was a black guy, and he was like, "Hey man, you broke that guy's jaw. You broke his jaw. His teeth were wiggling around in his mouth. They sent him out to the hospital." So he's telling me the whole thing. The dude's jaw was broken 3 places. So I'm not, you know what I mean? You know, that's what I was currently incarcerated for, breaking somebody's jaw. You know, I got into a fist fight in Tijuana coming back from a club. Ended up breaking a guy's jaw in 3 places, knocking out 2 teeth and severing a nerve in his mouth. Do I like to break jaws? No. Do I try to break jaws? I don't know. I have a reputation. I didn't try to. One time there was a situation. Now we on the yard, and one of the young homies had ran his mouth about hood business. Now that's unacceptable. You know what I mean? Something has to be done. So we don't play when, you know what I'm saying, you know, lives are on the line. This shit is taken very seriously. When you're in prison, you have to do what you have to do in order to survive. And you can't allow, you know what I'm saying, people to be talking hood business because you never know what can get out. And next thing you know what I'm saying, somebody got a life sentence, or, you know what I mean, somebody's dead. And, you know what I'm saying, you know, we ain't having none of that, not on my watch. So, you know what I mean, you know, homie ran his mouth about hood business. And the first time I popped him in his mouth. And then the second time, another homie, you know what I'm saying, he ran his mouth about hood business to his cellie. His cellie was from Hoover. We don't get down like that. Now, you know what I'm saying, I understand in L.A. and the Hoovers and the Hoods don't get along. But Hoover, you know what I'm saying, I've heard Hoovers say they neighborhood killers. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not the one. I don't have no problem with nobody from Hoover. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, I'm from San Diego neighborhood Crip. I ain't got no problem with nobody from Hoover. But, you know what I'm saying, you know, I ain't going to be disrespected by nobody either. So, you know what I mean, when it gets to a situation like that, you know, that's when it gets blown all out of proportion. So anyway, the little young homie, you know what I'm saying, you know, was in a cell with a dude from Hoover. And then he had said some stuff, you know what I mean, you know, to him about hood business that was spoken on within the group, within the SDC Crips. And he took that back and gave it to his cellie. And then ended up, you know what I'm saying, you know, doing some bogus stuff and going to a suicide bed. So, you know what I mean, we don't know what's going on, but, you know what I'm saying, you know, his cellie comes out like, yeah, man, the dude's telling me this and that, you know what I mean, you know, telling all this business. Like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying, this dude been doing this. So that's all bad, too. What are we going to do? Something has to be done. You know, I don't believe in smashing a homie. You know what I mean? I don't want to demolish you so that you can't progress and move forward. I want you to be disciplined, spanked, learn a lesson, and move forward so that this doesn't happen again. Like I say, if you're in prison, lives are on the line. And you know what I'm saying, you know, I feel it because you know what I'm saying, sometimes lives are on the line because of me, because of a racial issue. You know what I mean? You know, one of my homeboys can get killed in a riot. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's all kinds of stuff. I think about all that because
Now he just, in my opinion, right, he just spoke and gave you guys a look on the difference of ideologies in certain cars and organizations within prison, right? Some things definitely need to be addressed and handled to prevent the situation from potentially getting ugly in the future, and just to prevent an individual with sharing certain information with other people, right? You see how you talk about this Crip was in there telling the hood business to another dude. Obviously, he must have trusted him. What does that dude do? Eventually, he comes out and says, "Hey, man, yeah, you know, this dude was in there telling me everything." So he pretty much, he pretty much betrayed the individual who trusted him enough to share that information. But back to the thing of, okay, now, you know, depending on if this dude had been in another organization or whatever, he may have been stabbed. He may have been through depending on what he said, just because he was young and, you know, he talked a little bit too much. So, you know, and he's speaking now with this situation. He didn't feel it was necessary for the dude to be stabbed, you know, the dude, his life to be took, or for the dude to be stabbed and sent to the PC yard or whatever. But there was going to be some type of disciplinary action, which I'm assuming came in the form of some, you know, some lefts and rights, some boops and some bops, you know what I'm saying? And so that's just giving you guys a different look at the ideology of different organizations, right? You know, a lot of times you'll hear people say that, oh, you know, this organization is soft and this organization is, you know, is strict or whatever. But in my opinion, man, sometimes a lot of those politics that go on in prison are simply unfair. You know what I'm saying? They're unfair. They're over the top sometimes in certain situations. Anyway, let's get back into it.
because I don't want none of my homeboys to get, you know what I'm saying, in a bad situation because of something Snow did. Snow lives and dies by his reputation. That's all I got. There it is there. Hey, if you like what you saw today, hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. Share this with somebody. You know what I mean? You know, it helps my channel. Even if you share it to me, it don't matter. Share it to somebody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Check out the next one.
All right. And so, yeah, once again, the name of his page is Standing Tall with Snow Rock, man. And you got to look at the infamous San Diego 40s Crip, right? I honestly don't understand, man, why his page does not have way more viewers, right, and subscribers, man. So you guys definitely be sure to go to his page and check it out. He's got some good stories. And keep in mind, he came to prison at a time when prison was extremely different. From what I hear now, you know, when white Crips hit the yard now, they don't have any trouble, you know, with white convicts or whatever. But in his situation, it was extremely different, man. And it takes a solid individual to stand down on his beliefs and principles, even if you guys agree, you know, his principles were wrong. And I'm talking about being a Crip, being in the gang, so on and so forth. You know, anybody that still is strong enough to stand on what they believe in, you know, to me, I definitely got to salute that. Anyway, man, look, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.